Good morning, everybody. Well, we're back here in the garage and we're going to get the differential put in the D. We don't have the gaskets that we've been waiting on, so we're just going to get it set in the case. We can't put the bearing carriers or the quills in place yet, but getting it inside the case will be the difficult part. You know, moving it around to get it situated in the quills is easy. So once we get that done, hopefully we can get the crankshaft shimmed, and that'll be done. So the only thing we got to do from there is install the pistons and rods, shim those, put on the governor assembly, and then the rear axles and everything else can go in too. But we are currently going through all of our bearings. We cleaned up our axle quills or our axle housings, cleaned up the axles. One thing I did notice on this axle, if you can see all those dimples, somebody had dimpled this bearing race surface, so they must have had problems with the bearing spinning on the surface at some point. The bearing locked up or something, but unfortunately these are the best two axles that I have, so we're going to have to use them. I'm not going to, you know, keep searching for more axles, because from what I've been told, it's difficult to find good ones. So between the threads and the splines and these threads and the bearing surfaces, these ones aren't terrible, so we're going to use them. We're waiting on the axle felts, which Olson's Gaskets is making for us. We got to send these two off to sandblast, these two off to sandblast. Actually, I might try to do those in the blasting cabinet at Rudy's, but I don't think we're going to be able to do this at Rudy's, so those two will go off to sandblast for sure. Just the insides again. So the clutch bearing, that looks good, so we'll reuse that. These are the axle felt retainers. And that's pretty much it. So we're just waiting on Rudy to get here, and then we're going to start putting that in the rear case and hopefully get the crankshaft shimmed up. So stay tuned for that. More progress is coming. Hey guys, welcome back. It's a few days later. I know I didn't really show the ins and outs of how we got that differential in there, but nonetheless we got it in, and somebody on Facebook commented. I posted a picture on one of the John Deere groups, posted a picture of the differential being hoisted above, and they said this job is not complete unless you have several busted knuckles, and well, I've got them. So, but anyways, it's several days later. I had to stop working on this for a little while and focus on my truck. I ended up having to do spark plugs and wires on my truck, so got that done, and now we're working back on the D. And to be honest, I needed to get some stuff just done in my head without the camera, so I hope you guys aren't too upset about that. But really, it's the it's the trial and error of it. It's shimming the crank, it's shimming the differential, so not really a stimulating process to watch. So essentially, our main bearings here are shimmed. There's shim packs between the bearing shell. I guess you could call this the clamp portion of the shell, and this is the stationary portion. This is the bolt that drives the clamp portion of the bearing shell into the crankshaft. And we were having an issue with alignment initially, so we ended up making some more shims. They're not the super thin, which are about 3/1000, 2 to 3/1000 thickness, but these are about 5/1000 thickness. And then I've got let's see, I've got it written down over here. Some of the other shim thicknesses are 2 to 3/1000, medium thickness is 30/1000, and thick is 60/1000. So we ended up using a variety of different shim packs, and finally got it done. It took me 2 nights of work to get this thing shimmed up and proper, but we are good to go, as they say, on the crankshaft. So that's good. We did bolt the governor and upper water pipe on. Again, this just bolts to the top, so there's really nothing to be concerned with on that. We made the gasket, but this is not something that has to be timed to the engine, because we can loosen these 2 bolts, and this disc we can adjust in whatever position that we need the magneto to be in. So this is how we adjust the timing of the magneto on the tractor. It's not taking the governor off and aligning the gears to punch marks, etc. So this is how we adjust the timing. So we don't have to worry about that. We just bolt it on and go. Upper water pipe, same thing. Got that bolted on. The bearings and felt seals are inside here. We are still waiting on fan drive hubs for this. They're coming from Detweiler's, so he's working on getting them finished up, and once they get finished up, I'm not going to put the fan on yet, but we can at least have them ready. So I don't want to put the fan on until the pistons and cylinder head and probably the manifold are in place. So we're going to wait on that. Now the differential, real simple. It's on a series or a system of flat roller bearings. The bearings go into the quills, which are these housings here, the carriers. So the bearings go into the quills. There are shims that go inside those quills. I'll show you here what we've got. This is what the shims look like. They go down inside the, oh, this is kind of a crappy one. We gotta have a better one around here. There we go. So these shims go down inside the quill, and that adjusts your end play side-to-side movement of the differential assembly. Now if I could get them out of here. There we go. Oh, we didn't need those anyways, right? So that's how you adjust the side-to-side or end play of the differential. So So we've got it turning nicely. There's no binding. The bearings that were in this were good. There's no up and down play hardly at all. And we did get the, if you guys can see that, my flashlight is dead, but we did get the reverse idler centered on the drive gear and installed, tightened down. We've got the safety wire on the set bolts, which are way down there. If you can see it right. Well, now I'm blocking out all the light, but it's right here, right underneath my finger. So, got those wire tied. We got the main bearing carrier on the clutch side wire tied and ready to go. So next, what we're waiting on are the felts for the main bearing carriers. There's a felt that goes in here, and same on the other side. So we're waiting on the felts for that. And once that's done, the first reduction gear and sliding gear assembly can go in. Then we can put the shift rail in, but I don't want to put the shifting lever in until we get the rear axles and everything, chains put in here, because we want this extra space for working room. So we're going to wait to do the shift lever itself until we get the axles in, which housings and the axles are at sandblast right now. So when they call us to let us know they're done, we'll pick those up, coat them with Gliptol, get them put together. We do have new bearings for the axles, so that should be pretty easy to do. Once that's done, we can do the front shaft and everything, or I'm sorry, the shifting lever and shaft, and then adjust the chains, which is something we do by rotating the axles, the top of the axle forward. That's what this arrow is for, to adjust the tension of the axles. You rotate it forward, it slides the axle back and tightens the chain. And if I remember correctly, you should have an inch or inch and a half up and down play. I'm not positive, but I'll look that up when we get to that point. So, I think that's all we've got done. So, actually, I shouldn't say all we've got done, but that's quite a bit. So, yeah, getting closer. Hopefully the pistons and rods go easily, and we won't have an issue with that. That'll be another thing we got to do before we put the head on. So again, I do apologize for doing some work off camera, but the truck stressed me out, and I needed to get my mind right and focus on this thing and get some stuff done. Some of the more tedious stuff, shimming the main bearings, shimming the crank or the differential. So that's all done. So we just got to put the felts in the main bearings, and that's done. Once that's done, pistons, then we'll move on to finishing the rear end, and then cylinder head. Yeah, we're getting a lot closer. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for wrenching with me, and stay tuned for the next one.